Hey, Justin and Lee out here, FNK Classic Cars.
Word
Word up.
of yours. I mean, word up. That's what I
Word
mean.
up, word up, word up. So how are you doing?
Oh, living.
How you
It's a
all
beautiful day out here.
doing? It is a beautiful day. It's
Yeah.
it was 1,000 degrees yesterday, and it's like about 70 today. So much
In
nicer.
case you're wondering, it's also Saturday, which is good because I don't have to go to work.
Yeah. Well, lucky you.
You do.
Yeah, well.
Anyway,
So special treat today. Just a quick video. The vehicle behind us is kind of on the, we'll say, the borderline of being what we'd consider a classic.
yes, but
It has some value to me. 1998 Ford Ranger that belonged to my grandfather. So I wanted to just show it off, ride it around, and kind of remember the good old days.
well, this is something I probably should have asked you before. Is this the last vehicle he bought?
It is.
And he bought it new.
He bought it brand new.
So that's cool.
He had it. My grandfather's been gone for a few years,
Yeah.
but my father's had it for the past many years, and now it's come home to me. So
Yeah.
I
That's
wanted
cool.
to highlight it on our show today. So without any further ado, we'll
Take a
walk
look.
around and take it for a drive.
All right, let's take a look at this thing.
All right.
Tell us about it.
My grandfather was born and raised in Winchester, so that's why my dad put the Winchester tags on it as homage.
Yeah, the interior is really clean. I open the door. So
Yeah.
you can see it. Oh, the doorbeller's buzzing.
That's all right.
The doorbeller.
I'll reach in and get the key.
Yeah, there you go. Let's shut that off.
So I was looking at, hard to see with the sun glare, but those are maps in the center there. I found those in the door pockets, and they're from the early 90s.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's what my grandfather was using to navigate around.
Pre-GPS.
Yeah, and he's got, you can see it across the way, that there, and there's one right here. He had these little sunshades
Oh, that's cool.
that he'd use. It'd have a suction cup, and he'd put that on the window, and he had one for my grandmother over there. So when it was hot and sunny, they could sit here and eat their McDonald's
Yeah.
and not roast.
Yeah, this thing, it's power windows. It's a nice little truck.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the base model. It's got power windows and power locks, and this has got the V6, right?
Yeah, it's the 3-liter.
3-liter V6.
It's got
That
the
had the 4-cylinder. That's good.
it's got the BFG
Yeah.
raised white letter tires.
Yeah.
It's rocking the sport look.
Yeah, I think it looks cool, man. Nice little ride. And we got
It's got a tailgate
on the back.
on the
It's got
back.
the
Yeah,
horn.
the engine's up front.
You could put the tailgate in the front, but it'd be silly.
Is
Did
it-
you want to look under the hood?
Well,
See
yeah,
the
we
power
can pull
plant is truly out?
It's not the cleanest under there, but you get the idea.
Original 1998. It's got crank pulse.
I apologize in advance if we got some wind noise. We're still using a unfancy camera, but it does the job. There's those maps I was talking about.
Not only are we poor, but we're also cheap.
We are cheap. That's right.
That's one of the other reasons why we're using it.
Just V6, which for this truck, it's being so little, that
yeah.
V6 does plenty of.
It's got an interstate battery. Not an out of state. It's an
Yeah, it's
interstate.
right. It's right from here in Maryland.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Interstate. I think you should take that intake off since it's aluminum.
And polish it.
Wet sand it and polish it.
Yeah.
In about 37 years, you'll have it shining. Really nice.
Yeah. Maybe if I'm lucky, 37 years.
Yeah. The truck will never run again, but
Right. It'll have a
shiny.
beautiful intake. I love this truck, man. It
it's
really
cool.
just the nostalgia and
I like the color.
the sentimental
The
value.
seats,
Yeah.
That was your grandfather's last brand new vehicle purchase. That's cool.
He always drove around those big Dodge Diplomats and stuff.
Yeah.
You remember getting lost in the back seat, and we'd go to Strasburg Railroad and ride the train and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And he grabbed this truck. I had a Ford Ranger too at that point. I had a 90 Ford Ranger. I had a 4-wheel drive, white and maroon colored.
That's
That was a
cool
good
little
old truck.
man. It's got the radio controls on the steering wheel and all.
Yeah,
They're
getting a little worn, but I mean the truck's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean
it's.
realistically, the bottom of the truck's not blown out.
Oh yeah.
The paint's really not even that bad. It's a little faded, but
Yeah,
for
I'm
98 paint,
gonna try to polish the hood and the rooftop. That's really the only.
for 98, it's been outside all its life, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know, it don't look like a fogged up mess.
I'm gonna get a nice long shot on this thing.
Hold on a second. Let me get the hood shut.
Sure. There's Leon shutting the hood.
Hey. There we go.
There. Just gotta.
Probably didn't even fall out. You know, it's a good one.
Let's go for a ride.
All right, yeah, you want to get inside of it?
Let's do that from inside.
Yeah. Anyway.
Here we are.
Well, you want to introduce something or what?
Yeah. So
We did.
we actually filmed this segment already,
Yeah.
and
Didn't record.
Actually,
Which is-
recorded 3 minutes of silence.
Which is
you
totally
could see
awesome.
us, but couldn't hear anything, and then the rest of it just disappeared. So we're back, trying this again,
Yes.
and hopefully this one works out.
Thanks. And
So-
hopefully we can remember something that we said.
Yeah, well, we talked about this, that, and the other, and we had a good conversation.
Yes.
Talked about my granddad. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we're here.
This is your grandfather's truck.
It's my granddad's truck. And I don't know if I'd mentioned this previous or not, but I got a granddaughter, and as of now, a grandson on the way, due a couple weeks. So in honor of my granddad, I am Grandad.
Yeah, there you go.
I took that name on for my grandkids, so I did that in honor of my grandfather. So here we are in his truck. We have his old GPS.
Yes. Primitive GPS.
This GPS is from about 1993. There's a whole bunch of GPSs down here.
Yes. They were state by state
Yeah,
back then.
yeah. The GPS was analog back then, not
And
digital.
I just want to make a comment about the previous comment.
Okay.
Yeah. His grandchildren call him Granddad. We just call him Old Fart.
Yeah. That's okay. And my kids call me pain in the butt.
There you go.
So this is like, what my granddad and I used to do is we'd just get in his truck or one of his cars and go for a drive.
Yeah.
He had a set of, woods behind his house, and we'd just go cruise through there and look at the old
There
mills.
for a
and,
Sunday drive, so
yeah,
to speak.
go over the covered bridges and just talk about life, and he'd kind of give me some advice about this and that. I really miss those days,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, anytime that you were a kid and didn't have a job, those are good days.
Yeah.
Jobs. For all you kids out there, if anybody's watching, which I'm sure we don't appeal to that audience. But anyway, if anybody's watching, listen to me. Don't ever get a job. Mooch off your parents as long as possible.
Are you sure you want to give that advice?
Yes. Yes. And this is even for Justin's kids.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry.
We're going to go over a speed bump. Everybody hold on.
Because I'll tell you, once you get a job, you can't ever get rid of it. It sucks.
Yeah, you're like latched in.
You'll work for the next 5,000 years for no apparent reason.
Maybe-
You'll never get ahead.
Maybe don't work for the man.
Well, any person, really.
We're going to take a little spin through the park today. How do you like these?
Oh, they're nice.
These are the sunshades.
Sunny side up.
There's one on your side, too.
I know, I can't jiggle mine because I got this here camera thing.
My granddad used that because he liked to go over to McDonald's and get a burger and Coke. He liked the McDonald's Coke. And we'd go over there. I remember when I was a little kid, I thought McDonald's was like highfalutin. I couldn't wait. I'd go to the playground and get my kids' meal. And
Oh, yeah. It's a good time.
I really cherish those moments. But anyway, I got older, we'd go over and grab a Coke, sit in the parking lot and stay out of the sun and just hang out.
I wanted to let you all know something. We've been old car people for the past, 327 years. Kids, if you need a hobby, if you're looking for something fun to do, get you an old car and go out and wrench on it.
Yeah.
Fix that thing up, and then you can drive it. It's fun. You'll love it. And an old car nowadays, even if you get 95 Civic or something, at least you're working on something and having fun.
I'll say this. I used to not like that, but at this point, any excuse for a young guy or gal
the thing is
to get into something like that,
Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% all for it now.
And the thing is that they've, between television shows and eBay and all the stuff that goes along with all that. They've gotten to the point where the average Joe can't afford. You can't afford your dream car, so you got to kind of settle for something else and make it your dream.
So you can make it right. You can make it your own, make it into something
your
special.
Dream car. But
it's about making memories and doing something constructive with your time.
As far as getting an old Corvette or a '69 Camaro or a '70 Chevelle or whatever, that's out of reach for the average Joe. But you can have fun with an '82 Camaro, which is what everybody considers the bottom of the bucket. But you can have a good time with it. And modify it, make it what you want it to be.
Yeah, you can
paint it how you want it to be, and put the set of wheels that you like, and or 92 Camaro, whatever you feel like doing. Just get out there and have fun with something constructive. Don't go in the streets and do drugs and waste a bunch of money on beer, and go out and do something constructive with your money and have fun with it. And then at the end of the day, when you want to move on to bigger and better project, you can sell that one and make a buck.
Yep.
So
that is definitely a subject that was high on the list between my grandfather and I was cars.
Oh yeah, trying to have fun with something, a hobby that can eventually pay for itself through selling one and buying a different one. It's a lot of fun, and if you get out there and have a good time and make a couple bucks in the process, and then get a different car that you like better, to me that's a good day.
I agree.
So,
I mean, we've both done that. I've had some real interesting vehicles that I've made my own. I had some fun with it, and even though they might not have been much or desirable, I still had a great time. And then I sold it, made a couple bucks,
pass it on to the next car.
Yeah, moved on to another vehicle that I liked a little better. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time. And now, unfortunately, I don't have to sell one all the time, so now I have a whole bunch of them that I don't have time to drive. But
you got a museum now.
Yeah, I mean, it's still cool. I got out one of the 57s this morning and drove it around, so it's like I drive them as much as I can.
Now, here's something that interests me about this part of town. I know you can't see it from here, but there's a graveyard here.
Yes.
And there's no fence around it, which really surprises me, because usually they have to fence these off because people are dying to get in.
Yes. The good thing is they're nice and quiet.
They make quiet neighbors.
But
that's terrible.
Yes, it is.
What do you think of my Grandad's truck?
Pretty nice.
Power windows, power locks, keyless entry.
Yes.
It's got a refrigerator.
Yes.
It's currently out of juice, but it would work again with some
headliner's good. The seats are nice.
Clean, ride's good.
For a 98, it's in really good shape.
Yeah. To me, this is like memorializing, I guess. My Granddad's truck. I'll have this
sentimental value
to always look back on, no matter what happens. Hopefully, I can pass on my grandfather's life lessons to my grandkids.
Yes.
I don't have any grandsons yet, one coming, but maybe he or a future or even a granddaughter will take an interest in cars.
And listen, kids, listen to your Uncle Leon. Don't ever get a job.
We didn't go over this already.
I mean this. It's horrible. It's the worst thing ever. All right. Well, anyway, now that we're done with that, you might have to get a job at least so you can buy a toy car.
Yeah, you got to at least get that far.
Yeah, because your parents probably aren't going to give you a place to stay and buy you something to work on. Unless they're really nice parents.
Speaking of jobs, my grandfather, he was in World War II.
Yes.
And after that, he drove a Greyhound bus for a while, and then he got employed with Bethlehem Steel.
Yes.
There in Sparrows Point, was a train mechanic.
Oh, that's cool.
He did that up until he retired. I even have some of his old tools in my toolbox. They're probably a bazillion years old. My grandfather, being in World War II, he was in the tanks. He was on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. It wasn't something he really talked about, but that movie Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
I took him to see that, just him and I. And if you've seen the film, I mean, it's
pretty graphic.
It's graphic. It's startling in some ways. It's a good film. But after that, I asked him. I said, "Grandad, how accurate was that depiction?" And he said, "It was pretty spot on, other than the fact that we really didn't use the F word like that back then.
Yeah.
He said, take that out, and it was pretty spot on. I just, I can't even imagine.
Oh yeah, what those guys went through.
I had forgotten about this. A memory popped in my head when I got to be a more responsible age. Still very young. My grandfather used to let me cut the grass and ride the mowing tractor. I used to love it because I felt like I was driving. It was like one of my first experiences sort of behind the wheel.
Yeah, when you were a kid, it's like...
My grandfather trusted me to do that. I'm sure he didn't mind me cutting the grass either.
No.
I'll tell you, one of the hardest things I ever had to do before or since was give eulogy at his funeral. That was tough. My grandmother framed it. She took she printed out real nice, what I had said, and a picture of me and my granddad, and put it in a long frame.
Yeah.
And I have that hanging in my living room. It's been up there for years. And I spoke at my grandmother's funeral too, a year or two ago. That was pretty tough also. I had a very special bond with my granddad, and like I said, I hope I can have that with my grandkids too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I got a good bond with my kids, but I know the grandparent thing is like a different level or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's your grandparents, your kids are there to keep you in line, and your grandparents are there to spoil you.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
And think about this. I got 5 kids, 5 daughters, so my grandkid output potential could be quite...
Yeah, it could be
quite high.
3 to 350.
Yeah, somewhere in there. It's going to be at least 2.
It's going to be at least 2. There you go.
We got 1 in 1 common.
So thank you all very much for riding around with us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate this. This is just a special episode. Not necessarily a classic car, but I mean, it is 24, almost 25 years old, but
it's been around the block.
It's been around. This is just for the
sentimental.
Yeah.
Shoot, wait. Sentimental value.
Hey, don't get old, kids.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Maybe get a job for a while, but
At 40, everything starts to fall apart.
I'm pushing 50, really.
Yes.
I'll be 49 this year. It's just, how did I get here?
We got a beautiful golden Impala we're going to pass.
We're passing my place.
Goldschlager.
And Goldilocks is sitting out front. The neighbors love it, by the way. They stop by to take a look at it to make sure it's still roadworthy and legal.
Oh, I don't know that it's roadworthy, but it is legal.
Well, I'm going to turn this old truck around and I'm going to park it in front of the house, and we're going to wrap this one up. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me talk about my granddad. There's so many stories. I could be here all day and just go over all that stuff, but I just wanted to take a moment, take Granddad's truck around, at least for one final ride.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for riding along in my grandfather's truck. I just wanted to...
I was in there too.
Yeah, thanks. I wanted to take an opportunity. We've never been in my little garage here.
He doesn't live in the garage, but he lives
I could,
in the house.
but
if his wife's there.
It's not as impressive as Leon's museum over there, but this is my garage, and my grandfather never really had an opportunity to see what I have, so I kind of just want to put it here on the channel, just have it there for posterity. So so here it is. There's my 87 Firebird Formula 350.
That's red.
It's all red and shiny, and the inside still needs a little work, but there it is.
Yes.
Of course, there's
the 57.
The 57.
It's been featured on the show before, in case you're wondering.
And outside, I got, that's not as fancy, but there's the Caprice, 69 Caprice. My neighbors love me because there's always like 6 or 7 vehicles here, so, and all my goodies here.
Good memorabilia.
Yeah. That's it. I think my grandfather would be proud of what I got here.
Yeah,
sure. Even got AC for the garage.
Now, I'm just wondering if you get a shot up a little bit, your NHRA, and then did you know that gentleman there?
Yeah.
A friend of yours?
That's a good buddy of mine. That's Steve.
Steve's
Not Steve. Yeah, little guy.
We saved him.
And then this is some years ago. I ran a Mr. Tire store, and that's where it was, on the corner of East and 9th Street. So the city's still wondering where the sign is, but this is my little sanctuary. This is where I get away, come in here and do a brake job or tinker around on these cars. So
thanks again. Joining us.
We'll see you on the next episode. Yes. I'm Justin. That's Leon, and well, he can probably speak
word
for
out.
himself. Yeah.
Word up. Word. Just a couple words.
Just remember, you're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it.